I'm real excited tonight to have Mr. Jim Tanner joining us. Mr. Tanner is one of our team's millionaire club members, which means he's earned over $1 million in his 20 years with the company. He's obviously a six-figure income earner, has created, which is I think more exciting, he's created multiple millionaire club members within his organization and multiple six-figure income earners. That's where it gets fun. It's fun to make some money, but it's really fun to help others achieve success. He is a top recruiter and top team builder. He is leading by example. He's recruiting a lot of folks, having a tremendous amount of success, and traveling all over the country. Almost said world, but all over the country. He is traveling all over the world on those performance club trips, but he's traveling all over the country helping us build our teams. I know a lot of you saw him where he was Saturday. Was it New Jersey? I think it was New Jersey. So thank you, Mr. Tanner, for all you do to help us build our businesses. And I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Hey, Mr. Riches, thanks very much. And I have no idea how much time I have. So you're going to have to give me some kind of signal to wrap it up when you think they've had enough. But I'm delighted to be here. Here's what I'm going to do. So I'm looking at it. There's 48 of us live. I know some of you are going to watch this on replay. There's 48 of us here live. I got the chat window open. This is going to be interactive to some degree. So because I know 48 people logged in, I'm more interested in how many of those 48 people are not, feeding the dog, making dinner for their family. All of those things are okay, but I really am interested to know who's here with me and who is here with me. So as we get started, I'd love you to move over to the chat. Now, if you're driving a car, do not do this unless you pull over. If you're flying an airplane, like if you're on an airplane, cool, that's no problem. But if you're flying it, don't do this. Do me a favor. Just put in the chat how long you have been a Legal Shield independent associate, because I want to know who I'm talking to this Thursday evening. We're about to wrap up the first month of the fourth quarter. Look at it go. We got months, we got years. I want you all to see this too. Pay attention to what other people are saying. We have the diversity of time in the business here. Now, if I was typing in the chat, I'd say 20 years. February 2004 was when I got started. It'll be 20 years in February that I've been doing this. Scott Peterson, thank you. Just starting. Great. So we've got folks that have been in here weeks, days. Who's that? They just said 2 days. Increase 2 days. Congratulations. Wherever you are on this spectrum, I want you to listen to me. I can help you. I need you to hear me. I can help you. I want to tell you about your fellow associates. People that came before you decades ago, years ago, months ago, weeks ago, yesterday. Folks that got in this business before you. Here's what I want you to know about them. Most people joined this company when they were totally, completely, unapologetically out of options. That was my case. I mean, I was working and commuting 80 hours a week and I was broke. I couldn't pay for both food and gas at the same time. I was out of options. Mr. Riches was broke. You've heard his story. He was out of options. And story after story, Darnell Self, $1 million a year earner, driving his father's pickup truck, day to day, hand to mouth when he got to this company, out of options. Cliff Malloy, barely getting by, $1 million, our newest $1 million ring earner, out of options when he came to this company. If you are out of options today, you are in great company. And I wanted to say that first because one thing I knew when I joined this company and I was out of options and all of a sudden I was thrust into rooms of people that became millionaires is it really was difficult for me to figure out how I was going to assimilate into that group of people, right? Because I already felt inferior all day. I already felt like everybody else had more than me all day. I always felt like I couldn't make things happen. And the last thing I wanted was to have a bright, shining light on that. I don't know if any of you have ever felt that way when you've come here. I just want you to know, no one, listen to me carefully, no one that's made $1 million in this business is judging you on your journey any more than when you walk into the gym and you start the journey of getting into better shape, eating better, being healthy, moving your body. The people that you see around you in the gym that are the fittest people in the room are not judging you either. It's the same thing. Once you walk through the doors, we are on the same team. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can understand that. Maybe this is the first time you've heard somebody say that since you got to Legal Shield, but give me a 1 if you can understand that. Once you walk through the doors and you say, I'm in, equal access to equal justice matters, and I'm going to do it with you guys, Nothing else. We're not going to measure you against anything. We're not going to quantify anything. We don't care where you came from. We don't care what your education is. We don't care what your credit score is. We don't care about any of that. Here's what we care about. Will you do what people who win here do so that you can win here too? I'm going to say that one more time. Will you do what people that win here do so that you can win here too? I got to be honest, when I got started, I didn't. Maybe the information wasn't as available. I mean, I was just telling John Fairbach yesterday, when I got started in this business, I used the internet at the library. And that was 2004, and that's where the internet was. In my hometown, it was at the library. I'm glad it wasn't up a pole like on Green Acres. We used to make the phone calls. But that was the deal. It didn't have an email address. Google had barely happened. If it happened at all, there was definitely no YouTube. You weren't watching videos online. Your phone was bolted to the wall. It was a different world. And when I stepped into this Legal Shield universe, all of a sudden I said to myself, wait a minute, I'm now surrounded by some of the wealthiest people I've ever heard from. They look good. They talk real cool. They smell good. These people are making a lot of money. And it made me want to shrink back. And in those early days, without that access to the detailed information that you're going to get tonight, this preamble is because what I'm going to tell you is so simple that if you don't know where my heart is, you won't believe me. Because I'm about to tell you how to make $100,000 a year doing something that every single person watching this right now could do if they choose to do it. But when I got started in this business, I resisted the system. And I hadn't really met Mark Riches yet. I hadn't been to a live event yet. I was getting training, and I was filtering the training through the world that I lived in and I understood. You know, sometimes those trainers would say this and do this. And you know what my brain would say? Sure, but that's not going to work in Rutland, Vermont. Sure, but he doesn't know where I come from. He doesn't understand what I've been through. That's great advice for everybody else, but it's not going to apply to me. 20 years later, I can tell you that the reason they say it is because it just flat out works. Now, we can add complications and emotion and baggage and pain and regret to all of this. Or we can just do what works because we have the scrolls, we have the system. We have everything in front of us that we need. Now, I'm going to tell you how to do this business. And I'm going to tell you something that if you've been here more than those few folks that said, listen, I just got started yesterday. If you've been here longer than since yesterday, you've already heard this, hopefully. But I benefited immensely in my business from very direct, some people would say brutal, direct communication from Mark Riches. Like, that's the kind of coaching that works on me. I was an athlete as a kid. I was an athlete in school. I like to be coached directly. I want you to tell me what to do, and I want you to tell me when I screwed it up. And I want you to hold me accountable, and I want you to hold my feet to the fire when I don't do it right. Because the fact is, a whole bunch of time in this business, just like in everything in life, you're going to be expecting to do something when nobody's looking. And the question is, will you do it or not when nobody's looking? So I benefited personally from direct, brutal, hardcore coaching. And I'm just going to, it's not going to be anywhere near any of that tonight, but I just want you to know that I'm about to say some stuff. If it's okay with you, I would like your permission. I'll just take a 1 in the chat if it's okay with you. If I tell you what I think you need to hear, not what you want to hear. What you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Because I know a lot of times we come to this, including me, I'm seeing a lot of ones, we come to this, including me, and you know what I want to hear? I want to hear I'm doing it right. Everybody loves me. I'm on my way. You know, I remember the first time Mark Riches introduced me at an event. I had become a top recruiter, but I hadn't figured out all of the skills yet. I'd become a top recruiter, and he introduced me at an event. Years before this thing happened in my life, he said, this guy who's about to come up as a future millionaire club member. And I was embarrassed because I didn't feel like that yet. But he saw what I hadn't seen yet. Now, today, all these years later, I know exactly what he was talking about. Because I showed up at everything. I was at every event. I was on every call. We had calls before Zoom. Some of you younger people can ask an older person what a conference call is. They'll explain it to you. We had calls all the time. We had events whenever we could. I was there. I showed up in my business, for myself, because I like this kind of coaching. You're saying I can coach you like this tonight. I'm going to teach you the path to make $100,000 a year minimum, so that you can be an executive director, so that you can join us in the Millionaire Club Lounge. Because even at $100,000 a year, it'll only take you a decade. Now, you can ramp it up if you want to, but whether it takes a decade or 5 years or 7 years or 12 years to make $1 million, putting $1 million into your checking account, having Legal Shield drop that into your account will change everything. I am living proof of that. So I see some ones, I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear, because I know this information. By the way, as Mr. Richard said, I've been traveling around the country for the last year. I don't know how it happened. I just said yes to 1 or 2 things. All of a sudden, more invitations kept coming. Last weekend, I was in Newark, New Jersey with Elizabeth Gardner and Cliff Malloy, our 2 newest $1 million ring earners. And you better believe, here's a clue, success leaves clues. You better believe that I took more notes than anybody in that room. Some people are saying, well, Jim, you're already a Millionaire Club member. Jim, you're already a ring earner. Whoever has the biggest pile, when they speak, write as fast as you can and stay in rooms with those people. And now next weekend, I'll be in Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm going to do a luncheon for business owners in the community on Friday, November 3rd. And then I'm going to do a Super Saturday on Saturday, November 4th in British Columbia. It's going to be an incredible event. Also, I just said yes to Phoenix, Arizona. So if you're recruiting in Phoenix, Arizona, I'll be there December 9th for the Super Saturday event as well. Now, I'm just telling you, I've got exactly what you need to know. And here it comes. I hope you got a pen and paper. Do me a favor. My folks, my techie folks, put your phone, just don't put the notes in your phone. I'd rather you write them on the wall in your kitchen in black marker than put them in your phone and then never look at that thing again. Okay? Because we know that's what we do. That's what I stopped doing in 2023. You know, we did COVID, we did everything's online and everything's Zoom. And you know what happened? I had before, by the way, I'm standing right now in my beach house. And I'm not telling you this to brag. I want to make you understand. In my beach house in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, that was on my vision board for years. This place, I'm doing the Zoom from a place that was on my vision board. Back when my vision board was on the wall, I made those things come true. The cars, the houses, this is our 3rd home. The cars, the houses, the vacations, the life. My kid's in private school. She'll never know what it's like to go to public school. Now, there's good public schools, just not where she lives, okay? So here's the deal. Everything on my vision boards came true. And you know what happened? Over time, my vision board ended up in my phone and on my computer. And all my notes ended up in my phone and on my computer. And all of a sudden, I wasn't realizing those things anymore. All of a sudden, I had this thing where everything was coming true in my life. And then it stopped. And then I had to look and say, you know what? When it was in the world around me, when that trip to Iceland was on my fridge, when it was on every wall in my kitchen, when it was on the bathroom mirror, when I promised my wife that we were going to Iceland on one of these Legal Shield trips that was very, very challenging to qualify for, and it was all over the house. Yes, if somebody came to visit, they would have thought that there's something wrong with me, but they saw the photos from Iceland. And I'm telling you right now, you got to get this information out into the real world and out of your phone and out of your computer and out of your pad and onto the walls and onto the places where it will challenge you on a daily basis. Here's what it takes to make a 6-figure income in our business, where you disconnect time from money. Do you understand that you can do, my friend John Gardner, who's no longer with us, used to say, you know, the problem with Legal Shield is you can do it wrong and make a whole bunch of money. And then you don't even know you're doing it wrong. Now, I don't know if I would say wrong, but I would say that there's a model here, and it's Thursday night. These are the leaders. There's a model here where you can disconnect your time from your money, where you could set in motion duplication, write that in your notes. You could set in motion doing what duplicates instead of what works, because what works is, some of you are great salespeople. You can sit somebody down, do a presentation, sign them up for a membership. You'll get an upfront commission. You'll create another asset in your book of business, and that works. Some of you are going to companies and you're enrolling 50 or 100 people at a time. That works. Problem is, none of that duplicates. I mean, just put in the chat, what percentage of the American population do you think actually knows how to sell, would like to learn how to sell, thinks sales is a cool endeavor, would like to become great salespeople? Just give me a guess in the chat of what percentage of your friends and neighbors want to learn how to be great salespeople. Jerry Butler says 1%. James Perry says 5 or less. Let them come. I'm going to catch my breath here. That's my point. So you can do it. Some of you are here. You can do it. And you're doing what works for you, and you're going to make some money. But you're not disconnecting your time from your money in the way that this business model promises. Do you know that when Dave Savula died, the #1 money earner in this company which was years ago, that he is still technically the #1 money earner in this company all these years later, because he built an army of thousands of people that continue to add memberships to that book of business, that continue to enrich his family members that are here that he left behind. Do you know that Wilbur Smith, our mentor, all of you are part of the Wilbur Smith lineage, that Carol Smith still benefits today? Wilbur Smith passed away years and years and years ago, and his book of business is bigger now because of all of you and me than it was on the day he passed away. So you have to do what duplicates, not what works. Here's what duplicates: a simple business model that works in this business, that has worked in this business to create multiple millions of dollars for people, real people like you and I, that started where we had no other options. Our backs were against the wall, and it created a perpetual money machine. And here's how you do it. You first of all, you commit, and you make it a commitment like no other. You say, listen, I will never, ever, 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 ever miss Performance Club. That's the first thing. You've got to commit, because the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. And you can't tell people in your organization to do something that you're not willing to go out and do first. They won't respect you, and they won't listen to you, and it won't duplicate. What you'll do is you'll push people away instead of attracting them to you. So let's just start with that. There's plenty of time left in the month. Some of you are brand new. You're like, I just heard about Performance Club for the first time today. I had no idea that was a thing, but I'll do it. How many people, just give me a 1 in the chat, if today you are committed that you will finish the month of October Performance Club qualified, that you're going to figure it out, you're going to ask a friend or a neighbor, you're going to ask Mark Richards or myself, you're going to make sure that you do it because you want to lead the way. I'm seeing some ones. These are the people that are going to be able to do the thing I'm going to talk to you about. All right, so here's what we established, because I don't want to take all the time. We established that almost nobody, you guys said it, like I know this, but you guys understand, almost nobody in America can sell, wants to learn how to sell, sees sales as an endeavor that they want to get excited about. So if almost nobody in America can sell, and you're going to build a team of hundreds, if not thousands of people, we already have established in this meeting, they're not going to be salespeople. And here's the great news. You don't need that in Legal Shield. Because Legal Shield makes sense, because Legal Shield, the product, just flat out makes sense. Having equal access to justice, having a voice in advocacy, protecting yourself and your entire family for $1 a day, just makes sense, full stop. The reason you joined this business most likely is because you said, that just makes sense. And some of you have looked at a whole bunch of other things, from skincare to vitamins to stretchy pants to candles to whatever it is. No offense to any of those things. They are not Legal Shield. We're talking about taking attorneys with 22 years experience, attorneys, 6,000 attorneys in our network, attorneys we paid $110 million to last year, and putting them in the palm of your hand in your smartphone for $1 a day for your whole family. You show me anything like that, and I will be impressed, because it just isn't happening in the world of home-based business, direct sales. It's not happening. It doesn't exist. And that's the business you're in. What that means is that when people see Legal Shield, they sign up for Legal Shield. 1,000 people signed up at least today for Legal Shield. So watch me take you through these numbers. So you've already said that you're going to be Performance Club qualified. You're not going to miss it. You're going to always be there. You're going to be focused on it. You're the one that we've been looking for, because you will lead the way. And we've already agreed that people can't sell, don't want to sell, don't want to learn how to sell, and don't want to do it if it is sales. Now we've got a small group, about 3 to 5% of the population, that they are like, oh, business solutions. I can go to companies with this. I want to do this. And we just let them do it, and they just do it great. I've got some of those folks in my team. Scott Brooks made $100 grand his first year, $250,000 the second year, $1 million in less than 5 years, bringing Legal Shield and ID Shield into companies. But you know what? I don't have 100 stories like that. They come along when they come along. But here's what I do have: hundreds of stories of people that are in Performance Club, that protect a few families a month, and have created an incredible, sustaining money machine in my business, so that when COVID happened and nobody left the house, when COVID happened, we had more questions than answers. When COVID happened, they said, hey, 2 weeks, just kidding, 6 weeks, just kidding, we'll see what happens. Every day money came into my bank account, and I didn't have to make those tough decisions. I was privileged to not have to do what so many other families had to do, go out and wonder what they were going to expose their families and their friends to. I didn't have to do that. I don't know what's coming next, but I want you to be prepared for it. So here's what it is. This is the entire business. It's a business of people helping people that don't have sales experience, that basically don't know how to do anything. Like they don't even have technical know-how. Like most of the people who join our business and make money in our business don't even know how to do half of the stuff that we teach them in Fast Start class, if not 80% of it. Like who really knows how to use the Success Team back office? I don't. I mean, I know I can find some training videos and I love that about it. But otherwise, here's what's so magical about our business. A business that attracts people that don't know how to sell, don't want to know how to sell, that allows them to win and start making money, to go on trips, to buy new homes, to change their cars, to change their lives. Why? Because they believe in the membership and the membership works. So what is it that we need people to do? Well, we need them to be Performance Club qualified. Now, what's great about that is with the $64.90 membership, we're talking about 4 memberships a month. Put a 4 in the chat if you're still with me. If you haven't just said, this guy's a jerk, all he does is yell and sweat. Just give me a 4 if you're still with me. It's 4 memberships a month for every member of your team. That means you plus your team, that's 4 memberships a month. All right, I got some 4s. All right, watch this. And this is, by the way, this is in the actual company business overview that we've all seen, that hopefully you're plugging people into. Here's what it says. It says, protect 4 families a month and earn a Performance Club check every month. $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year, by the way. Not even counting the matching bonuses, which, by the way, if you're in your first year in this business and you're not picking up that $200 a month Performance Club bonus, not only are you not taking that money home, but you are taking $200 in front of your senior director and you're ripping it up and throwing it on the floor. You're lighting it on fire in front of them because they get $200 too. And they deserve their $200 because they went through the effort of finding you and helping you and working with you. And they're a phone call, a text, or an email away. Shame on us when we turn our backs on all of this incredible knowledge, energy, coaching, stamina, mentorship that's right there for us. We say we're not going to do it. Why? I mean, how many millionaires are calling you every day and saying, I want to help you become a millionaire outside of Legal Shield? I've yet to have the phone call outside of Legal Shield, but inside of it, all the time. So don't turn your back on what you have here. All right, so it's 4 membership sales a month. Get your Performance Club qualified. Gives you most of the rollover, if not all of it, especially if some of those people join your team. $64.90 plans, 4 a month. Here's what you're earning. If you're brand new, you've never done anything, you're a brand new associate, you're earning $300 as a brand new associate on those first 4 memberships. Talk about profit mode on a $49 business. And what is that? Well, that's $70 times 3. I'm not a math guy. That's 70 times 3. That's 210. And then you move up to 90 on the 4th membership because now you're a senior associate, right? Because one of those people joined your team. So now you made $300 on your first 4 families you protected. And by the way, if you wouldn't protect these families for free, don't you dare show them Legal Shield and ID Shield for money. Because that's not who we are. That's not the culture of what this is. Get the culture of who we are. We are people helping people. We're not doing this just to make a bunch of money. We make a bunch of money because we do this. Very different approach to the business. So in a couple of minutes I have left with you, watch this. 4 memberships a month. Now you're Performance Club qualified every month. You're working your way towards going on a trip around the world that you and your friend deserve to go on, by the way. All expenses paid, no expenses spared. 4 families a month are getting these services. They're sleeping better at night. Some of those people are joining you in the business. Let me ask you a question. Put a 3 in the chat. If you think that with a $49 entry fee, with what Legal Shield and ID Shield is today, that you could find 3 people in the whole country that would say, I want to do this with you. Maybe they're the people that, like my guy, Bill Sharon, that he was like going to do it. It didn't need to know what it was. He just wanted to do something with me. Don't you have 3 people that are like, listen, I don't know. Like Chris Shepard, don't you have 3 people that are like, I don't know what it is, but I'll do it if Chris Shepard's doing it? Of course we do. We all have that. And you might say, well, you know, I've been taking too many withdrawals from people's lives. I can't make a deposit right now because right now is not the time for me. You know 3 people that would do this with you. And if you don't, we have systems we can teach you. They're far more complicated, far more cumbersome, far more difficult than you just showing this to some people around you. We'll be happy to teach you much more difficult ways to do it. But I'm telling you right now, you know 3 people that will do this because you're doing it. You know what that makes you? A manager in our business. And don't you think you're not that special? I mean, I don't think I'm that special. I found 3 people. One of them was my mom. She already had a membership. I told her about it years before, but when I needed 3 people to get to manager, I signed her up as an associate. That's what you would do. Signed my grandfather up as an associate. He loved his membership. I signed up as an associate because I needed 3 recruits. Bill Sharon was my first recruit. Once I had 1, I wanted to get those other 2. So I went to my family members and I got it done. And isn't it magical that you can just, boom, now you're a manager. And here's what happens. None of us are so special that if we can recruit 3 people, that those 3 people can't recruit 3 people. None of us are so unique like snowflakes that we can't just duplicate the same thing in our organization that we did. So you know what happens? It starts with you, and then 3 that you bring into the business becomes 9, becomes 27, becomes 81. If it never went any further than that, that's 120 people on your team. People are saying, how would I get to 120 people on my team? 3. Starts with 3. That's what you need. You need 3 people that'll do it because you're doing it. 3 people that'll look at it because you looked at it. 3 people that just are sick and tired of being sick and tired. 3 people that have been looking at everything, that have been looking at late night TV, that have bought every one of those kits that there is, that have been dreaming for years to be their own boss and to fire their boss. 3 people in the whole country, US and Canada, and they say, listen, I'm going to do this with you. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. 3. And 3 becomes 9, becomes 27, becomes 81. That's 120 people. Watch this. Remember I said 4? As the leader, you're going to performance club qualified. 64.90 plan, you're going to write 4 of those a month. Now you're performance club qualifying. You're making money. By the way, we're talking about as a new associate, $300. It just keeps going up from there. You're writing 4 plans a month. You're earning $300, then 4 and 5 and 6. Up to at the top of our compensation plan, marketing 4 64.90 plans a month will net you $2,300 a month almost. Just that behavior. By maximizing the comp plan, being performance club qualified, you're talking about $22.92 a month for customers. Some of you are shutting down because you're like, he's not going to teach me how to find the 4 customers. Yes, I am, I promise. But I am almost out of time. But I'm going to tell you where those 4 customers are because you said that I could coach you directly. But I want to show you something. I've been saying 4. What if you couldn't get your 120 people? Your 3 that became 9, became 27, became 81 for 120 people total in your little team. That's a little team in Legal Show, by the way. People have thousands of folks in their teams. You're a little team of 120 people. They don't do 4. They're not as good as you. They don't believe like you believe. They haven't done what I'm going to tell you you have to do to get to 4. They haven't done it consistently. I'm going to tell you how to get to 4 a month. They haven't done it consistently, so they're not getting to 4. They're doing 1 membership sale a month from your team of 120 people. Ready for this? You have a team of 120 people and they make 1 membership sale a month. And let's just say that you're an executive director, and I know that we don't have to do a training on the comp plan, but wherever everybody is, they just cap you at senior director to executive director override, which means all you're making is $75 per sale. You're an executive director, you're not doing any better than $75. Some of you, I could give you examples where you're making $100, $200, $300 per sale, $75. 1 sale a month, your team does 120 sales, that's 1 sale from each person, that's 120 sales times $75, that is $9,000 in a calendar month. Because you started something and you did what duplicates instead of what works for you. You taught them what to do that would work for anybody instead of your spin on it, your cult of personality, your flavor of the month, your way of doing it that's better than somebody else's. You just did what duplicates. That's $9,000 a month. Can I just get something in the chat? If you would love to have $9,000 a month coming into your bank account from sales that were made by members of your team, disconnecting your time from your money, not right away, not overnight, but over time, building a business of high duplication, and nobody has to sell 40 or 400 plans. You have a team of people selling 4. That's 1, by the way. Your goal is 4 to get them all into Performance Club, but they did 1. They only did 1 because they're inconsistently consistent. And you made $100,000 a year with your inconsistently consistent team, which, by the way, there's no cap on the size of your team. There's no limit on the money you can make. And none of what I just described includes any of the bonuses that were just announced in Dallas, Texas. Now, let me tell you how to get a performing team, including yourself, because I said I was going to be a little bit tough if it was okay with you. There's only one path that gets you to 4 sales a month, that gets your team to 4 sales a month. And remember, we want them to do 4, but we'll take 1 because they're going to be consistently inconsistent. But here's the consistency that matters. You do 2 presentations a day. We call them exposures. That means that twice a day, somebody on your list saw what Legal Shield and ID Shield is. Also the opportunity. I never show somebody the membership without showing them that they can also be involved in the team, because you want to build a team, because you want to reveal to people pathways that include more income for them. So I'm talking about twice a day. Who can see? People say, well, Jim, I don't have time to do this. I'm too busy. Good. This is the perfect business for busy people, because I don't want you to quit your job to do this. That's not what I did. I don't want you to take 8 hours a day to do this. You want to know why? Because that will work, but it won't duplicate. Because just like I asked you earlier, what percentage of people want to sell? What percentage of the people in your circle of influence could say tomorrow, you know what, I've got a whole bunch of money saved up. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. I can ride this out for months or years while I really get into production. I'm just going to quit my job tomorrow and just join the circus with you called Legal Shield. Nobody can do that. Not in this economy, not in any economy. But everybody you talk to could start a part-time, spare time, slices of time, stolen moments business where they show 2 people a day. The fact that Legal Shield and ID Shield exists, 300 million people woke up this morning with no idea it exists. No clue. You know what breaks my heart? They're all going to bed in basically the same state. They have no idea. We changed that for so few people today. We planted the seed for so few people today that it should haunt us. And yet in this community that you live in the communities that I live in, people are being pushed around and bullied. People don't know where to turn or what to do. They don't know who to call or who can help them. And we have the secret. The secret has to get out. And the way the secret gets out is that everybody in this grid, you and me, we build a team of people that will do 2 presentations a day. Now that just means sharing the video, inviting someone to a Zoom where other people do the presentation. Maybe you're doing private Zooms for your team and you're doing the presentation and they're inviting. However it gets done, they don't have to do it. We're not recruiting great presenters and great speakers. I've never recruited anybody assuming they knew how to do Legal Shield. I never said, hey, I think you probably already know how to do Legal Shield, come on board. No, I know I'm going to teach them this. The question is, what do I have to teach them? How to make a list of everybody they know. Everybody can do that. How to invite the people on that list to see some information that they don't have to explain. Everybody can do this. In my team, we say, let one of the leaders lift the weights, you get the muscles. Let us do the presentation, you get the money. Well, this is a team sport that we do. I hope you understand this. I hope you truly understand, because there's people out there trying to figure out, how am I going to write 40 sales, 400 sales? How am I going to make $100,000 writing 50 sales a month? And right at your fingertips is a business where you could just build a team of people that are doing 1 to 4 memberships a month, and you will never wonder about money again. You will never wonder about your influence in your community again. You will never wonder, because what I didn't talk about was the massive ongoing residual income that you and that team are producing just with that 120 sales a month, 1 sale per team member. And yes, as that business grows, as that duplicates, instead of just doing what works for you, as you duplicate throughout your organization, the culture of keeping it simple and doing what duplicates, it will find Sheila Carmen's and Rebecca Baker's and Scott Brooks's and Adam Thompson's and all these other people that don't produce 1 sale a month. They produce 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 or hundreds of sales in a single month. But you're never going to find them looking for a needle in a haystack. You find them by doing this model that I just described to you, so that your system pays you every single day, that everybody in your team is being enriched by the simplicity of the system, that nobody feels left out, that nobody feels like they can't participate, that every single person that you share this opportunity with, not only can they join, because that's easy, but they can win. And we can make that possible. Mr. Riches, thanks so much for having me tonight. Thanks all of you. Back over to you, sir.
Awesome job, Mr. Tanner. Fantastic information. Wow, that was really good. I was just typing some notes as you were talking. So incredible job. You know, I like how you keep it very simple. And that's what duplicates. If you want to build a business that takes a lot of your time and energy, complicate it. The more you complicate it, the more time and energy it's going to suck of your life. But if you want to build a business like Mr. Tanner has, that's very independent of him, keep it duplicatable. And I love the information that you shared with us on that, Mr. Tanner. Thank you again so much for sharing that. I love this quote. I never heard this before, so I'm going to make sure we use it a lot. Will you do what people that win here do so you can win here too? I love that. And are you willing to do that? Are the people that are listening tonight willing to do those things? I've been doing this for 29 years. I can do it in my sleep. I know exactly how it works now. I did not always know that, but I know how it works now and what to do to make it work and how to make a lot of money. And I love to teach that to other people. And are you willing to win here too? Are you willing to duplicate? 2 exposures a day. You kept it real simple. I mean, getting a massive army of people to do that, that's the secret. And everyone can do 2 exposures a day. It takes just a few minutes a day. And we have the greatest tools today. And again, the leaders are willing to help you. The company has built the Performance Club program and the Fast Start and Manager programs so that your upline, your support team, is motivated financially to help you get started. And never before in the history of the company has there been so much compensation to the leadership for helping new people get started. And I love that. I love the fact that we're compensated, and use your support team. That's what Mr. Tanner talked about. Here we are in Iceland back in 2018. There's Mr. Tanner there with his lovely wife, and it was a great. They haven't announced our next year's trip in 2024, but they said it's going to be out of the country in a real special place. So I'm excited to find out where that is. As we wrap up the Zoom call tonight, I just want to remind you about registering for the Oklahoma City International Convention. This is going to be the biggest event of the year. It's going to happen April 18th through the 21st. It's at the brand new Oklahoma City Convention Center, featured here. And these events, I mean, you can get a ticket now for only $79. We have a few of those left. We had to buy some more because we had sold out our bundle. But this is actually a shot of what the convention looks like. I mean, it's thousands of serious associates gathered under one roof, learning from the best of the best and learning about how to build this business successfully. And again, the first step is get registered. The second step is start saving a little money so you can attend. We don't want you just to get registered and pay the $79. But if you're planning on going, be sure that you've purchased a ticket. You just click the shopping cart in your Success Team back office, and it's right there at the top, the Oklahoma City Convention. Be sure to get your ticket, and we want to celebrate your success there. That's another thing they do, is celebrate so many winners. They have the top achievement awards. I mean, this is like the Grammys for Legal Shield. I've never missed an event in my 29 years. And if you're brand new, I saw a lot of new folks. I just want to throw that out there. Get registered for Oklahoma City and be there, and really try to be on the floor. And those are the executive directors, the top leaders of the company. And you have plenty of time. We're, a little less than 6 months out, but you've got time to, put an executive director plan together, earn a $3,500 bonus on your way, and be on the floor right there on the front of the stage in Oklahoma City. But be sure that you're registered for that. Guys, it's been great. Mr. Tanner, again, thank you so much for pouring so much information into us tonight. Let's take that information and apply it in our business. I appreciate each of you taking time out of your Thursday evening and joining us here on our Success Team building training call. Good night, everyone. God bless you. Have an incredible night, and be sure you get Performance Club qualified before the end of the month. Have a good night, everyone.